Okay, so today is Tuesday, March 3rd, also known as Super Tuesday. Like 15 different states are going out and voting today, so that's fun. Good morning. So it's an important day for democracy. Okay, cool. Also an important day for us. This is the last lesson that we have before your mini test. Mini test is Friday. I call it a mini test because it's probably... when I give you the practice test, you'll be like, oh, okay, this is fine. What I'm going to do is take the practice test. You know how I change numbers sometimes, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm going to take the exact practice test. I'll change the words, but it's going to be a 1-to-1 per question. I don't know if that English made sense. Literally, when I ask you a question about finding the mean, all I'm going to do is change the numbers. It's going to be the exact same length, same way I'm going to ask questions. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, so what we've done so far, we worked on designing a study, okay? Just do a hot review for 2 seconds. We're on the chapter 11 notes, if you want to grab those. So a survey, I could create a survey and ask how you're doing this morning, right? I will put in like, how old are you? What's your name? You know, what time did you wake up this morning? How are you feeling? Like, I'm going to ask all these questions. I give it to you. You answer, you fill out your opinion, your belief, and you send it back. A survey, I'm literally asking you questions about your belief, and I'm getting the results back. An experiment, I would like to know, I don't want to go to the same boring example. I would like to know which is a better shoe for me to use. Which is a better marathon shoe? That's a good one because it's a very good example. So I take, the 200 elite runners or whatever, and then 100 of them I will put in the Hoka One One shoe, and then 100 of them I will put in a Nike Vapor, whatever. And then I'll see how do they perform, and I'll compare them. So one of them is undergoing a change, and the other is staying a constant, because if you're an elite runner, you always use the Vaporfly because it has this carbon fiber. It's almost like a spring. Anyway, you can definitely tell what's on my mind today. Experiment, it's like a science. The science experiments you think of. You have a control, you have something that's changing, you see what your results are. In an observational study, you're just standing back and you're just observing. You're not getting feedback, you're just watching, right? You're just watching. It's like those marketing studies when you're behind a mirror.
What's the one called when you are doing
when you're actually doing it, the survey.
Okay.
If you're actually getting results back from them, you're asking them questions and things. Okay. Thank you. Are you on the bus?
No, I was just late.
They did not mark either one. Okay, cool. Okay. So we talked about, how do you determine which type is it, a study, experiment, etc. We worked on designing studies, so asking biased versus unbiased questions. So we'll go through the practice test tomorrow with you guys, okay? This is just really trying to ease the cobwebs. And then the very last thing we did a week and a half ago was measures of center, spread, and position. So I look at the test scores of this class, and I say, how did we do as a whole? There's 3 different ways you can measure the center, like how we did. I could look at the mode. What grade did most people get? It's not the greatest thing, because maybe everyone got different scores except 2 people, and those 2 people were actually the lowest scorers. That's not an accurate representation. So mode is what happens the most. I could look at the median, right? I look at all the test scores, and the one in the exact center, that's the median. Okay, well, that's a good measure because it's okay, this is right in the middle. But normally, this is what you guys always ask, what's the average, aka the mean? You take all the test grades, you add them up, and divide by how many people took the test. That's your average. All right, we're cool so far? Okay, cool. Just erasing all the cobwebs. These are measures of center. So I just went over mean, median, and mode. And then variation. So, okay, I see how we did as an average, but that only tells me so much. It only tells me what the exact average was. It doesn't tell me how spread out the test scores were. Did everyone score very close together, or is everyone pretty spread out? So this is what I do when I look. You guys have quiz scores. I look at your quizzes and I say, okay, if everyone scores roughly the same, I'll look, what did people miss? I'll make sure when we review for the final or whatever, I will make sure to hit the things you miss. But it's not so useful for me when there's a large variation, a large spread. I'm like, what are people missing? Like, it's not clear. I have people who score really low, people who score really high. I'm like, what is going on here? It's harder for me to pick the things to help you review. So if you have more variation, your data is more spread out. So this happens a lot of times on the final. Like, we have people who get 40%, we have people who get 90%. What do I do? It's a large spread. So the ways you can talk about the spread, the variance, right? How does your data points, how are they different from each other? You can talk about the range. So that's just the highest one minus the lowest one. That's literally the distance between your highest and your smallest. Variance, not so useful. Really what we want to talk about is standard deviation. Now the standard deviation is the average distance each data point is from the mean. Okay, that's crazy. So the mean, remember, mean is the average. The standard deviation is the average distance each data point is how far away it is from the actual mean. So the smaller your standard deviation, that means the more compact. All of your test scores are really close together. If you have a high standard deviation, everything's more spread out. So there's this whole formula for finding it. I'm not going to have you do it by hand. You say, use your calculator. So probably, I don't know, a fourth of this mini test is calculator skills. So if you haven't already, grab your calculator out. We're going to review all the calculator skills. Perfect. Okay, and then we went over, I'm trying to think where we left off. C? We finished C? Okay, cool. So this is where we're at. All right. So far, so good. We got all our cobwebs gone. We spent a day reviewing biased versus unbiased. And I'm gonna try my best to make it so it's super clear. It's gonna be clearly unbiased. It's gonna be very clearly biased if I'm trying to write a question that is biased. And it's gonna be I'm really, really trying not to trick you guys, right? That's the goal. When you see the practice test, you'll see that. Okay, we're ready? So, statisticians use measure of position to determine where specific values fall within a data set. All right, so quick question. How many quarters does it take to make $1? 4. And if it's a quarter past 10, it's 1/4 of the way through the hour. So a quartile is you're 1/4 of the way through the data. 1/4 is 1/4. So the first quartile is the first quartile of your data is your first fourth. The second quartile is between your first fourth and the median, right? This is your second quartile. The third quartile is right here. This represents the 75th percentile. So if you guys take the SAT, PSAT, you might get a score and it says, for English, you are in the 68th percentile. Okay, what the hell does that mean? 68th percentile means you scored above or equal to 68% of people. Yeah, that's pretty good. I specifically chose a positive good number because I believe you guys can hit those numbers. Okay, so we use quartiles. They are position measures, divides the data set into 4 groups. All right, so 25% of the data is between the minimum and the first quartile. 25% of your data. 25% of your data is between the third quartile and the maximum. We're at the middle of page 7, I think.
Oh.
Right? All right. So there's really 5 numbers we use, and it's called the 5-number summary. Right? You have your minimum, Q1, which is the lower quartile, the median, the median's your second quartile, the upper quartile, Q3, and your maximum. This is the 5-number summary. And this is what we're going to use a lot. So you have the min, Q1, median, Q3, and the max. And your calculator tells you all 5 of these numbers. Once again, this is calculator skills. You just have to understand how to work your calculator. That means you need to, we're going to go through it. Next example, we're going to go through it. But you need to have your calculator with you Friday.
Is Friday the mini test? I thought Friday was the 5th.
I did not change it. This is the same thing that I printed for you 2 weeks ago. Dylan checked. It's correct on my JAG. I'm being consistent. I don't know why people are confused.
Oh, I mixed up practice test for chapter 11. I thought the 6th was a Monday. That's why I'm confused.
Nope, we are finishing this, and then SIPers come back, and we continue on.
Who's in SI? No one in this class. Yeah, he's just something. Literally think of Canada right now.
Whatever. Ashton, Noah Solomon, Radican Cooper, 2-3. There's Doreen Shemtov, I think, because they're all in my other section.
Yeah.
And then Jesse Spencer's on EIEP. So there's like 1 in this class, 4 in the other.
Oh.
So since I'm doing the same thing in both my intermediate classes, similarly with my pre-calculus, I have 2 sophomores and they're only in 1 of my sections. So whatever, I'm just gonna do the same thing. Cool. So if you're a senior, there's gonna be a couple questions about stats on your final. Not crazy, right? Goal's not to get crazy here. Just have, some basic understanding. That's all I really want you to come away with. And if you always want to learn about stats more, take an extra class, you can read, whatever. Okay, so we have a 5-number summary, right? You have the minimum number. You have Q1, which is the first quartile. This is at the 25, right? This is it's the number that splits your bottom 25% with your upper 75. Your median's exactly in the middle. You have your third quartile and then the max, the very largest number. So the number of hours Liana worked each week for the last 12 weeks were the following: 21, 10, blah, 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 right? These are all the number of hours she worked per week. We want to find the minimum, lower quartile, median, upper quartile, and maximum of the data set, aka the 5-number summary. So what you could do, we can write them in ascending order. So I'm going to do that first. And then once we do it by hand once, I'll show you how to do it with your calculator. Groovy. Okay. It is super chill, yeah. Do my hands chill. Okay, the lowest number I see is 10. 10. How about the next one? 12, 14. I forgot the 13. 13, 14, 15, 16, 15, 16. How about an 18? There's 2 18s. There's a 19, there's 2 20s, and a 21. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, cool. 12 weeks, we're good. All right, so I have them all listed in order. So let's go through, and it's very easy to see the minimum and the max. It's literally your largest and your smallest number. First, we need to go through and we need to find the median. The median's the exact middle. We have 12 numbers. Right, so if I count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these are the 2 numbers exactly in the middle. They are 6 in from both sides, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So since it's an even number of data, you're right. You take the 2 middle numbers and you average them. 16 plus 18 over 2. So this is going to be the median. $17. Min is 10. Max is 21. Okay. Awesome. So right here is where my median is.
The minimum is just the lowest number?
Yeah. And the maximum is just your highest number. All right. So the first quartile is literally the median of the first half of your numbers. So if I take these numbers right here and find the middle of them, then I'll have the Q1. Okay, so there's 6 numbers. So if I count and take these middle 2, Q1 is going to be halfway between 13 and 14.
Wait, do you do 16?
Yeah, we do. Yep, this is the lower quartile. This is Q1.
How do you know?
What?
Q1 is the first 3.
So the median is right here, right? So there's 6 numbers for my first half of my data. So if I find the median of the first half, there's 6 numbers. So I have to go into the exact 2 middle and you take the average of them. Half of 13
So is
Between these two, the average is 13.5. And similarly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Third quartile, because it always goes in order, right? The first quartile is in the lower half. The third quartile is in your upper half. The median's exactly in the
so
middle.
every 4 numbers is the dude, it's because there's 12. There's 6 on this side, 6 on this side. In the middle.
So it's just the median.
Median of the first half.
So it's 13 plus 14 divided by 2.
Exactly.
Oh.
You're literally
That's
taking
lower
the average.
quartile, right?
Yes. Yes.
I thought the median was like
Well, the median is the second quartile technically.
but like if you don't count it when you find the one.
No, we don't.
So,
All right.
but if it was like 4, for example, like if the number was like 9 variables, or not variables, but numbers, you know, and then like the median was like,
If we had 9 numbers,
yeah.
the median would be the exact center one.
Yeah, I know. So, but then would the lower quartile, like, how would you, if there were like 4 numbers on each side that you were going to for the lower quartile?
So let me pick a couple numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Okay, ready? Here we go. This
Yeah, so
is
like
the
5 is the median.
min. Oops, hold on. Max. This is the exact center.
Okay.
So it's the median. And now,
Divide that by 2.5.
and then since we have 4 numbers on the left side, you'd go right in the middle. And then since there's 4 numbers, right in the middle. 7.5 is Q3. Cool.
Wait, what about the 4?
What about it? I don't know what. Please articulate. I don't know what you're asking.
7 plus 8 divided by 2.
Yeah, it's 7.5.
The number 4.
Yes,
6 either.
I did. Okay, ready? The median is the exact middle. The third quartile is the median of your upper half of your data. So we have these 4 numbers. The exact middle is right here, halfway between 7 and 8. Q1 is your median of the first half. We have 4 numbers. The exact middle is right here, which is 2.5.
Oh, it's because you put like the thing under the whole thing.
Is
That's
it
why I got
always going to be
confused.
2 numbers for the lower quartile? Or can it ever, like, if it was just 1, 2, 3, it would be like just 2 divided by.
I think I'm going to answer your question by actually like showing you on the calculator how to do this. All right, we have our calculator out. We're ready to go. I'm going to show you how to do the original problem that we just did. I'm going to show you how to do it in your calculator.
There's no upper quartile.
We did. Q3 is the upper quartile. Q3?
Oh, so the first one is the lower, the
Yeah.
second one is. Oh.
Okay, so we have our calculator. Ready? We're going to review our calculator skills. You turn it on. Now, there's 2 ways to do it. You see this little Excel green thing, little like sheet? You can click on that. Okay, that's fine. Or you can say new list and spreadsheet. There's 2 ways to do it. Okay.
Wait, can you redo that really quickly?
New list and spreadsheet. Okay. Guess what numbers we're going to be putting into the first column? The ones we just did. 21, 10, 18, 12, 15, 13. So I'm entering in those numbers from the problem we just did in example 3. 20, 20, 19, 16, oops. 16, 18, 14. Okay, as soon as you're done entering the numbers, I'm going to go on to the next step, but only when everyone's done. I'm going to wait for everyone to put in the numbers.
Third order? I'm like not there.
Okay?
Yeah, does the order not matter?
No, order does not matter.
Wait, what do you do after that?
I am waiting till everyone enters this in. I'm going to walk you through how to do it.
I'm like literally on like the first step. How do I get all
List and spreadsheet.
and it automatically does A, B, C, D.
Yeah, you're just entering in the numbers into the first column. Into the numbers, into the first column.
Why does it say 9, 10, 11, 12, 13?
Because what? Those are the rows. because I already entered in all my numbers. These are the row numbers. I'm waiting for everyone to finish typing in all the numbers.
In order?
No, order does not matter. Just enter in all the numbers. What? Okay. No, here it doesn't matter. Okay. So, we have them all entered. There's 12 numbers. Enter them all in column A. You'll end in row 12. Alright, the black numbers are me entering them. These gray numbers is just telling you the row number. Okay. So, I'll wait till everyone's done. And we'll go on to the next step. Are we good?
Yeah.
Good? Okay. Now, I want you to push menu. Statistics. Stat calculations. One variable stats. Do you have your calculator, Talia? Here. Use this to a calculator and I'll charge yours.
Do we do 12?
No. Number of lists, we just have one list. Just one list. So if this pops up one, you just push enter. Just push enter. Wonderful. And then wait on this page. So it's saying, where is your list? Our list is in column A, so we don't change anything. Where do you want your results? Column B. That's fine, because we only have one list, so you just push enter. That's it. Ooh, look what popped up. Look at all this stuff. Ooh, amazing. Okay. So, remember what this X bar means. This is the mean. On average, this girl worked 16 1/3 hours per week. That's a lot. It's a good, big part-time job. And if I scroll down, I see SX. Do you remember what this is? Standard deviation for our sample. This is standard deviation. When I ask you standard deviation, this is what you're going to write.
That's why you need to calculate.
Yep, because I'm not going to make you find standard deviation by hand.
Round it.
We did it once by hand, and I'm not going to make you do it again. You just have to know how to use your calculator.
No, I'm gonna write this. Can we like go over the steps to get here again? So
They're in your packet.
Oh, they are?
Yes. I'm pretty sure I put them in your packet.
numbers.
Yeah.
Where?
Maybe it's my pre-calculus packet.
Yeah, I also got it.
Are they not in this packet? Okay, well then write them down.
I got
What's wrong?
138, 21.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I did everything.
19.5, 17.
21, 10, 18, 12, 14.
90.
Did I enter it in wrong? I don't think so.
I might have done something in like one of the entering steps.
13, 20, 20, 19, 16, 18, 14. No, that's it. Oh, wow. What did you do? There's like two whole. Did anyone,
Redo it.
did you guys say the same thing? Is that it?
Yeah, that's right. Wait, no, never mind.
I don't know. Did you?
I might have just
Oh, yeah.
done quick
That's
wait.
what I
Yeah.
I entered stuff in a different order.
The order doesn't matter.
Yeah.
How do I go to my sync ones? What the heck? Because I don't know
Order
how to
doesn't matter.
Maybe I got it wrong.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I did the same steps just now and it popped up the things I did.
Wait,
I don't know. Okay, so we all have
So
this.
for the standard thing,
The standard deviation, SX.
round it.
Yeah, you would round it to like
SX, right?
SX. This one right here.
So what's the SX?
Oh, is it just that?
Hold on. One question at a time.
Okay.
So, standard deviation,
Standard.
literally, this is a calculator skill question when you are finding standard deviation. I don't want you to have to do it by hand. That's a pain. That's so many computations. I'm surprised you don't remember us doing it because it was a little rough. I'm not going to lie, it was rough. It's one of the last things we did last class. So when I ask you standard deviation on your mini test, this is all you have to do. Enter in the numbers, go through, do stat calculations, and it's right there. It's right there.
X at the bar on top.
X on with the bar on top is the mean. Is the mean.
Find where to do it.
What do you mean?
Wait, we do have to round
She's
it?
gonna make us a list.
What?
She's just asking like the same thing that you asked, like where to find the steps.
Okay, ready? I'll go through the steps one more time for you guys to write down. Menu.
Wait, from like.
We're on the chapter 11
So you
packet.
like start
Round it?
new document.
I'm in the middle of lesson. So after that.
Can you
Okay.
just like start?
Menu.
Wait.
I literally said the word menu. It's a button on your
From
calculator.
new document, you go to add graph.
Lists and spreadsheet. List and spreadsheet.
So we should remember what the, like, everything represents, like, X with the bar.
I mean, X with the bar on top is the mean, and then SX is your standard deviation.
But we should remember that, yes?
Yeah, because I'm not having you memorize anything.
And then you go to menu, and then what do you click to get to that?
So menu, statistics,
After you press list and spreadsheet.
you'll enter in all your numbers, and then you push menu, statistics, stat calculations, one variable stats, and then you just push enter.
What do you do when you press menu?
Menu, statistics, stat calculations, one variable statistics. And you have to make sure that A is where your stuff is, B is where your column, your info is.
What do we round?
Oh, you just have to make sure where it's the list. If you always put your stuff in A, that has to be that first line. So mean, I would write this as 16.3. That's fine. You always do one more digit than your data. Our data was whole numbers, so we would go to the tens place. Okay, ready? This is what I meant to show you is, look, our 5-number summary. Remember how we said our min was 10? Our first quartile was 13.5, our median was 17, third quartile 19.5, max 21. It does it for you. This is where it is. Literally min, Q1, median, Q3, max. There it is. Wonderful. Okay. Are we ready for the last part? Okay. What? The button statistics? Yeah. Here, let me, I wrote it down. I thought it was for this class. It's probably my other class. I could just copy paste it onto these notes. Let me see. Yeah, there. I'm gonna post it on the filled notes. Okay. Because I knew I wrote it down. I just didn't realize it wasn't for you guys. Okay, so I'll just post it in here. Paste it here, come up, okay. Come here. All right, interpret this 5-number sequence. Okay, so we just have to talk about these 5 numbers. What the heck does this mean? Okay, interpret. Means over the last 12 weeks, Liana worked a minimum of 10 hours. That's the smallest amount of hours she worked. And at a max, she worked 21 hours, right? There was a week where she worked 21. That's crazy. Sorry, what? Question? I'm still on the bottom of page 7. But you see how B says interpret the 5-number sequence? So I'm just talking about it. So she worked less than 13.5 hours 25% of the time. Because remember, this quartile means this is the number, 25% of our data is smaller than that. So only 1/4 of the time did she work less than 13.5 hours. 1/4 of the time she worked more than 19.5 hours. That's literally what the quartiles mean. You're splitting your data into 4 equal sections. Half the time she worked less than 17 hours. Our median 17, so half the time it means she worked less than 17 hours. And that's interpreting. That's all it is. Okay, now this is the last thing we're going to do. Awesome. So the difference between Q3 and Q1 is called the interquartile range. The interquartile range contains 50% of the values. Before deciding on which measures best describe a set of data, check the data set for outliers. An outlier is an extremely high or extremely low value when compared with the rest. So whenever I look at your average for the test scores, I see if there's any outliers. Did one person do really, really well compared to everyone else? Or is, one person did really, really bad compared to anyone else? Because that greatly affects the mean. Right? Our average, it is a non-resistant. If you have one person that bombed it, it's going to throw my average way lower. Same with standard deviation. It's not resistant. One outlier is going to cause your standard deviation, the average spread, to blow up. So to check for outliers, look for the data values that are beyond the rest of the values in the set. So this isn't a useful example because it's not something I'm going to test you on. So instead, what I'm going to do is we're just going to use these numbers, and we're just going to go through and find the 5-number summary instead. We're just going to review the calculator skills one more time. Cool.
Give us like what the 5-number summary is on the test, but you just what you want out, or do we have to?
No, I say 5-number summary. It's those 5 numbers: the min, Q1, median, Q3, max. Okay, so let's just go through. I'm changing the directions just because I want to make sure, like,
They're the same.
because this is supposed to be working with outliers. I'm not going to have you do this. I just want you to know the calculator skills and understand what each of these words mean. So, this and the next section, 11.2, that's the difference between Algebra 2 and Intermediate.
Q3 is upper medium.
It's technically the upper median. It splits your upper half of your data into 2 equal halves. So let's just go through. Let's find the mean. Right, mean. Let's find the standard deviation. So this is going to be SX. Let's find the 5-number summary. Right, so that's going to be min, Q1, median, Q3, and max. And that's all I want to do with this problem.
What does it say about
5-number summary, 5-number sum. Okay. I just want to go through the basics one more time with you guys. That's it. Cool. Tomorrow, we're going to go through the practice test together. We'll have time to work on homework, ask questions. Cool. We'll review calculator skills again. Cool.
Hey, wait, we do the first one.
Okay. So, I'm going to X out of the previous one. I don't want to save it. That way I can just start fresh. Okay, so I can push new, list and spreadsheet. Cool, and I can just enter in all my data.
Put in all the numbers.
Hold on. Question first. We're putting in we're putting in all those numbers. Okay, question?
I get how to do like the median, whatever, but what is like the I don't remember how to do the mean or like whatever is underneath that.
The standard deviation?
Yeah.
Okay, it's part of the, literally it's just part of the stat calculation. You just pull it from your calculator.
So the 5-number sum, is that just the deviation?
What?
Like what is the 5-number sum? Is that also in calculator?
Yeah, all 7 of these things are just in your calculator.
So on the test we have to include the 5-number sum.
If I ask you for the 5-number summary, you should write it. Yeah. So right now I changed the problem just so we can review calculator skills. Okay, Dylan, question?
It won't let me.
Let you do what?
After I press statistics, it won't let me press stat.
So you're still the number, you're still entering the number? So you say you're still entering the number, you can't be editing anything. Yeah, What? It's exactly like an Excel sheet. So I'm gonna enter in all my numbers. We'll go through the stats together. Then I'll show you one cool thing. I think I showed you it before.
It's the, what's it called? The standard deviation. It's like 2,000 something. Here, like.
2000 it's SX, not SX, not SSX. It's literally just the SX. So I'm gonna point out once again. I'll point out where that is. Was I supposed to have 220, 625, 2018? Okay, 18. Okay, okay, 22, cool. Okay. So, first, I entered all my numbers. So here's the deal. If you still are typing, it's not going to let you do your stat calculation. You have to be down one. You have to be done entering your numbers. Tally us it up. So you have to be done entering all your numbers. Then, you can push menu, statistics, stat calculations, one variable stats, enter. Okay. Make sure X1 list is in A because you entered all your stuff in A. Push enter. It's gone. Where is it? Up. You gotta scroll up. Here it is. Okay. So we found the mean was 22.5454. How should I write this?
22.5.
Good. 22.5. How did you know where to round, Tall?
Because we're only doing whole numbers, so it's actually.
Exactly. One more space, then your data. One more decimal, then your data. That's it. Okay. How do you what? Just one list. That's it. Just one list. Enter. Okay. I need to find standard deviation. It's just the SX. It's literally this guy right here. This is it. 11.5. Exactly. That's it. Standard deviation. 11.5. Did you get it? Who did not get these numbers? We entered it. Because I will double check.
What else do you need to know?
You always want to round to 10.
One more decimal than your data. So if you have things that are whole numbers, you're going to have to 10.
You just go down.
Okay.
What's AX?
So you entered something in all your numbers. 15, here it is, whatever not to. 12, 27, 10, 16, 18, 20, 35, 22, 25, 65, 18, 25, 15, 18, 25,
22.
Okay, so hold on. 15, 13, 25, and then 22, okay?
15, min X just means like the middle.
28, that would be it.
So
automatically.
Yeah.
I don't girls know.
No,
What did I say? I didn't.
My doctor.
And now.
It's just not insane.
We did it, and we'll do it again.
So
I bet he doesn't know what it is.
Okay. Well, okay, I think we're off by a number somewhere.
How do you guys know?
25, 15, 27. So I think one of your numbers is still off, but it's close. You need to. Okay, we're almost there. So first, X bar is your mean. X bar is your mean. The one that's highlighted, mean. Standard deviation is this SX, this guy right here. This is your standard deviation, 11.5. Okay, to find our 5-number summary, you keep scrolling down. Look, I see min, Q1, median, Q3, max. That's your 5-number summary.
That's all?
Gives it to you.
It's so
10,
Like the A.
15,
Brian, this is
21.
This is easy 100 right here.
Wait, but
That's the
the
goal.
5-number sum.
That is the goal.
What's AX?
Oh my god, wait, is the 5-number sum just a list of all this?
These 5 things.
It's not like. I thought
We did it by hand first, and then I showed you how to do it with your calculator. Yes.
I just want to know what AX is.
AX.
Got A?
Where are we looking?
Right under SX. I might not-
Sigma X. Okay, So, ready? If you're like, if this is gonna confuse you, plug your ears. This top one, this is, if you did it by hand the way we did it last class, this is what you would find. Your calculator tries to be smart. It says, oh, you give me 22 numbers. I'm gonna guess this is 22 out of a total of like 10,000. So it's trying to predict what the actual mean would be of the whole population, not just a sample of 22 things, but the whole population, 10,000 items. It's trying to be smarter. Nope, we're not going to use it. We're using SX because this is
What about like the one?
this is just you're adding all of the squares. If you square every single data value and add them all together, this is what it is. Yeah. I'm pointing out the important ones to you that we will use.
So you said we'd have to do one by hand and one calculator on the test?
That's not at all what I said. Standard deviation, we did it once by hand in class. That's it. I
So
will.
nothing we have to do by hand on the test?
That's not at all what I just said either. Standard deviation, you won't have to do by hand. You can use your calculator. That's exactly what I said.
Is it gonna be like the problem, like B, like with and without the outline?
You guys will see.
The mean is just all the numbers added up divided by the amount of numbers. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like your average.
The median is the middle number, the mode is the most common.
Okay.
Average.
I don't think we're missing anyone because Ashton is our 12th player in the game. Are we missing anyone? No. Is it just because we're the
I saw more
Yeah.
out of the school.
That you're doing?
I turned into his house. And he just jumped in.
Okay, what I want you to notice, so we're gonna go over this tomorrow in class, okay? And we will go through the calculator skills again, probably at least 3 times. That would be great. So notice, I'm asking you, some of this stuff is from 0.9, right? A study, or 11.1? I don't know.
Do we need to
11.1?
keep this?
What?
Like the biased yes or unbiased factor?
You should probably do that.
Is that gonna be on here? I just have like, okay, I usually just keep like the notes packets.
You know, you do you.
I know what we're gonna need to like turn in, and then we're all turning that in.
The things that you need to turn in are, let me look at the lesson plan. We're gonna just up. Let me look at the lesson plan.
Alex from last week doesn't count, right?
Right, junior is more required to do it. Okay, there are 3 assignments due on Friday. Page 727, 10 through 26 all. That was back from the 18th of February. That was the day we did that. Then on the 21st, it's P27. It's not page 27. It's literally P27. If you go and do if you do 27, the page 27, that's the wrong page. It's literally P27. It's at the very, very, very front of your book. Right? I said this to you guys multiple times. If you do the wrong page, you get a 0. I'm telling you right now where to go and look. 1 through 6, and then 7 through 11. 11 and 16. Literally 27 problems total for this whole like little unit. That's it.
Wait, what are you talking about?
P27. Do it. Front of the book.
Right? If you look at your lesson plan, you see how it says P27?
It's not page 27.
It's
You have
page
to type
P27.
in P27 on class over. Yes.
Well, we have like 3 minutes. 5 topics of Alex are due Friday. So which one is mine? It is the second one.
When does the quarter end?
Second one. I believe that's your.
Hold
on. No. It'd be
I'm
this
gonna
one.
do it.
It's quarter 4. Did you have? So you don't have your name on it? Should definitely put your name on it. Okay, I need to get you the chapter 6, right?
Yes.
Quarter end.
And
1 moment.
I love March 11th.